Hello and welcome everyone. It's Michelle and I've got some more things that I purchased. There have been some really good sales going on lately. These came from the London Graphic Centre, and the first one is this set of mini set of QOR half pans. Yes, so in the set you get 6 half pans and you also get 6 empty pans, and these are the granulating. Now what does it say underneath this label? Let's try and move that. Granulate, oh, just called granulators. You can see that the recommended retail price was £64.35. Their price was £43.50, but in the sale it was £37.76, which I thought was rather nice. Just move that out of the way a moment. I also, well, actually, I tried to order 2 little 5mm tubes of Winsor & Newton. This one is called Mineral Grey. I think the other one was called something like Ash Blue. But, yeah, the Ash Blue, they emailed me and said, so sorry, it's out of stock, and they refunded me. So this little tube was £6.26. And then I got some of these Daler-Rowney Graduate All-Purpose Synthetic Round Brushes, size 10, size 6 and size 4. So, and I also got some other stuff, but I'll be doing that in another video. So keep watching, because I've got at least 2 more videos to do with things that I've purchased. And who knows, there's more things coming. So let's open our box. So you get the colours on the back. In this set we've got the ultramarine pink, the ultramarine violet, ultramarine blue, cerulean blue chromium, cobalt teal and cobalt green, and these are granulating colours. On the back of any of the tins that you get from QOR, you will notice they actually put the pigment number, and they also put the light fastness rating as well. So but I've already put those down here ready to go. And because the tin, we will swatch our colours as well. Oh, these have all moved. Can you, I don't know if you can see, they're all a bit they've all come out of their placements. Let's pop you back in, and you, which way do you go? Where's the flat side? That side. Okay. Oh, and that one. Gosh, they must have been moved about a bit in the post. Right, so you can see it comes with those 6 colours, and then you've got these half pans which do come out, but we're going to leave them in there because I have picked out from my range of QOR watercolour tubes 6 colours to go with this, and I love the fact that you get the little piece of glassine paper as well. So the first colour that I'm going to add in is Nicolazo Yellow. Now I've pulled my little tool out because yeah, some of these are kind of on the edge of being used up. So I'm just going to get that moved down a bit so that I can hopefully now squeeze this out. All right then. Luckily, I know I've got another tube of this, so I'm just going to use this one up though in here. I may have to, let's see if we can pop that back in. Let's move it around that way because I'm right-handed. And let's just move it down again. And this is why this is so useful, because it helps you to get more or less every last drop out. Right, let's take you out, and we're probably going to have to clean that up, but there is a bit on there actually. We won't worry too much about that. So thankfully I've got some wipes at the ready because obviously that has now leaked all over this. Oh well. I think we're getting there. I feel like this month has been, you know, my clumsy month or something. I'm forever getting paint on things that I don't want to get paint on. Perhaps it's just my age. Who knows? Right. Clean out those little ridges. That's looking better. Okay. Now just my hands then. Anyway, we have eventually, bear with me folks. Well, I hope you will anyway. So let's get my pokey tool. Here it is. And we'll just try and get that flattened down. And we don't want to waste the bit that's on there. I mean, this... Now, you see, this doesn't really work for me because we've got 6 across, 6 at the bottom. And this has been done in 4s. So, let's just lodge you there a minute. And I think we will draw this out a bit better. So, yeah, I think that's a little bit annoying. Now we'll do that in half, and then like so, roughly. Okay. And now I'm going to use some of that Nicolazo yellow that's on my bent paper clip, what I call my pokey tool. And let's grab a little brush. Let's have a size 4. We don't need a very big brush for here. There we go. There is our Nicolazo yellow, so that we don't waste it. Next is yellow ochre. No, I think I can just squeeze this one with my hands. So we'll put our yellow ochre in there. Oof. Let's try and squeeze some of that back in. There we go. so as we don't waste it. And I'll do all of the pigment numbers in a moment. Then I've got Pyro Red Light. Okay. Where are you? You're there. Followed by Sap Green. And there's still a bit coming out, so we'll pop you on there. Burnt Sienna. That one didn't spill over, so that's good. And I'll level them out in a moment. Okay, can we get anything else out of this Payne's Grey? Let's give it a go. So, any more for any more? Yes. Because we really don't want to waste our paint if we don't have to. Where's my brush? And the Payne's Grey is going to go in there. Right, that's the end of that one. But I have another one. Okay. Now let's do our levelling off. As best we can. I always find it works if you just kind of tap a bit. It seems to get it leveled out a bit more. Let's pop some of that on there so we don't waste that. Right. So I've half started my card because I've tried not to waste some of my paint. So let's take our brush and we can start off with our Nicolazo yellow. And Nicolazo yellow is PY 150 and it's got excellent light fastness. Try and make them a bit more watered down at the bottom. Then I've chosen yellow ochre. And I need to get my yellow ochre on my card. There we go. Yellow ochre is PY43. Then we have, let's see if I can get that off of there, our Pyro Red Light. And this is PR22. Let's just get that on my swatch as well. Then we've got Sap Green. So I've chosen these to go with the colours, the granulating colours that the set already came in. Let's pop our, oh, there's miles too much on there. Let's see if we can get you back in there. Yes. Burnt Sienna is PB7. And you'll notice so far these are all single pigments. And let's get you on here. So those were the, oh no, I haven't done my Payne's Grey. Payne's Grey. Now this one has got 3 pigments in, PBK7, PB15:3 and PV19. So this has got a black, a phthalo blue and a violet in it. So there is our Payne's Grey. Now comes the interesting part with the granulating colours. So we've got Ultramarine Pink Dark. This is discontinued, by the way. So if it's a colour that you like, I don't know if it comes in any other sets, but yeah, for some reason this is discontinued. Let's add quite a bit of water there. PV19 for our Ultramarine Pink Dark. That one goes there. Then we've got Ultramarine Violet, which is also PV19. Let's try and get a bit more up there. So there is our PV19. Then we have good old faithful Ultramarine Blue, PB29. And I should say that all of these are excellent light fastness. The only one that is different is the Payne's Grey, and that comes up as very good. So, you know, I'm happy that this is a set that is light fast, basically. So we'll see how much granulation we get with our ultramarine blue. Then we have cerulean blue chromium. So I'm guessing this is an alternative to ordinary cerulean blue. This is PB36. And we'll see how that does. Oh, I forgot to do my swatches over here. Let's get you in. Right, next we have one of my very favourite colours, Cobalt Teal. I just adore this colour. And I mean, it's the vibrancy of the core colours that is just, yeah, I'm always so impressed. Cobalt Green is next, and this is PG26. Need to make sure I give plenty of water to these granulating ones. Right, so I'm going to dry these so that I can bring them back up for you, and then I'm going to do all of the mixes. So I've made a chart and I'm going to be doing all of the mixes. So I will be back in a very short moment. Okay, so here we go. These are the colours that are in this palette. So the bottom row are the colours that you get with the palette. Those are the colours that I've decided to add to it. So one chart on the other side, and we're going to need mixing palette. I'm not going to bother labeling these up. I think they kind of speak for themselves. So I will pop that in my little palette over there. Right, what do we need? Well, we are going to need a mixing tray, or two in actual fact. So let's get some at the ready. I've got a lid here. What did that come off of? Oh, probably the one that I threw away. Right. So let's do our colour mixing and just see what happens. So I'm going to need nickel azo yellow with 11 other colours. Okay, right, well, this is going to, obviously the first one takes up a lot of the paint, but as we go further down the chart, there's less to do. So we'll start with those. So I've got 2, 4, I've got 7, and then I'll do the rest on the other one. So first of all, let's pop our nickel azo yellow as it is in the box. Right. Now let's mix it with, and we're probably not going to see much of a difference here, with our yellow ochre. Then with our Pyrrole Red. I'm not sure that I put enough Pyrrole Red in. Let's just, yes, that's probably better. There we go. Then with our sap green, that's better. Then with our burnt sienna, and our Payne's grey. Ooh, now that is a surprise. That is rather a lovely green. Whoa. Then with our pink violet. Oh, what happened there? Ah. Not pink violet, ultramarine pink. Our ultramarine violet. There's a real difference between the half pans and where I've squeezed in from the tubes. Right, let's just get you out of the way a minute. So I need 4 more slots with, let's do them in here. 1. Right, ultramarine blue. A very nice green. The cerulean. No, I didn't pick up enough. There we go. Next, the cobalt teal. Oh, that gives a very fresh green. And finally, the cobalt green. Okay, let's do a bit of cleaning out of palettes. But I think you can see there we've got a really nice array of yellowy, orangey, going into the greens. Yes, that's looking rather nice. Where are my wipes gone? Here they are. think that's the only thing that puts me off when I do these colour charts, because, well, A, it uses so much of your paint, and then it's the fact that, you know, you've really got to keep cleaning your wells out in between rows of colours. Nope, it's still not clean. Right. Now we're there. Okay. Let's move on then. And I think I am just going to get a different water jar, because my water is looking a trifle dirty. And take my little pokey tool out. Right, let's move you out of the way. And we will bring this next one in. Oh. So now we are looking at yellow ochre. First of all, we just want our straightforward yellow ochre. Right, let's get some yellow ochre in the mixing wells. Right, and we're mixing with, because we've already mixed with Nicoloso yellow, we don't need to do that one again. So, Pyrrole red light. There we go. Sap green. But that didn't really have enough of the yellow ochre in it. There we go. Burnt sienna. Payne's grey. This is such a painstaking task, isn't it? Oh gosh, miles too much for the Payne's grey there. Probably doesn't help because these are, you know, I've only just squeezed them out into the... Okay, that's got a bit of a green tinge to it. Ultramarine pink, where are we? We'll go here. I was going to say these are kind of opposite on the colour wheel, so should get some really kind of muted colours. Violet, ultramarine violet. Yeah, sort of browny, neutral brown kind of colour. And then ultramarine blue. And that's I think I'm going to add a bit more of each of those because it's come out a bit wishy-washy. That's better. Kind of a grey, grey green. Right, that's all of them on there, isn't it? You can see the granulation coming from some of them on the palette. So we need just 3 more. So we've got our cerulean blue. Take that back. Cerulean blue. Another green. Our cobalt teal. I mean, there's lots of variation in the greens here so far. And then our cobalt green. Don't think I put enough on. There we go. So that's our second row, mixing everything with yellow ochre, bearing in mind that we'd already mixed Nicolazo yellow with the yellow ochre. So I'm just going to clean these palettes off again. I think I might pause while I do that, otherwise it's going to become very annoying for everybody, I think. Let's move on to mixing with our Pyrrole Red Light. So let's get enough of these laid out ready. Well, almost enough. Let's do these first. First ones. Let's get our Pyrrole Red with Pyrrole Red, just to show what our Pyrrole Red looks like. And that's leaked a little bit, but we'll keep our fingers crossed. So we are mixing with Sap Green first of all. What a lovely brown. Let's try not to get that too close to that red that's leaking everywhere. There we go. Burnt sienna. This should get us a real reddy brown colour. There we go. It's almost like an English red, that one. Payne's grey. I've got enough there. Probably too much again. Gosh, the Payne's grey really spreads out. That's better. Whoa, now that is, yes. Look at that brown. The ultramarine pink. Where are we? Let's go here. Gives us this rather lovely muted rose colour. The ultramarine violet. Where am I? There. Kind of similar colour. Ultramarine blue. What have we got left? This one. The cerulean blue. I think what you can see is that what we're getting here are some really quite lovely muted colours. Right, I need a couple more. Cobalt teal. And finally, cobalt green. That's better. Yes. Right, I will pause again to clean off my palettes. This is going to be quite a long video. Right, we're raring to go again. So next we are looking at sap green and the mixes that we haven't already done. So sap green, where are we? Here we are with itself. So just sap green basically. And then How many do we need? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 5. 6, 7, and 8. Okay, so we are first mixing with burnt sienna. Right, let's try not to take too much Payne's Grey because it's so strong. Payne's Grey. Let's get some of our ultramarine pink. And of course, it's probably not going to show up too much in these very small squares that I'm using. But every time that we mix with the granulating colours, it will make our mix granulate. Where was I? This one. This one. 1, 2, 3. Yes. Okay. That was ultramarine violet. This is now, yes, here. Ultramarine blue. Then we've got our cerulean. Our cobalt teal. And finally, cobalt green. Right. Now then, I'll clean that one off in a minute. Let's move to this one and do, what are we doing now? We are doing burnt sienna and the mixes that we haven't done. So, burnt sienna. Okay, and I need to do my burnt sienna with burnt sienna, which goes in there. So, burnt sienna with Payne's Grey. Payne's Grey really does try and do the mix a bit better. There we go. So we get a really dark, nice dark brown, ultramarine pink. It's definitely harder to get enough pigment from the half pans. There's ultramarine pink. Let's do ultramarine violet. That gives us a really nice brown. Ultramarine blue. Which one haven't we used? This one. Oh, yes. Really nice dark brown. Cerulean. Should do something similar-ish. But not quite as dark. Cobalt teal. Oh, looks a little bit like Davy's grey. And finally, cobalt green. Another lovely brown. Wow. Right, let us pause. Whoops. Right, we are ready to go again. Oh, right. Okay, next we are doing Payne's Grey. So Payne's Grey with Payne's Grey goes there. And then we're going to be doing it with 1, 2, 3, 6 colours. It's got a nice blue tinge to it, this Payne's Grey. So ultramarine pink first of all. Let's try and get a goodly amount on my so that we can hopefully see the slight pink tinge to it now. There we go. Ultramarine violet. These are probably going to be quite hard to see on the... Let's grab a bit more. Gonna need more than that. That's more like it. So that's turned it more almost into an indigo. Right, cerulean blue. Let's fill my... Another gorgeous kind of indigo type colour. I didn't do enough holes, did I? Cobalt teal. And then the one that I forgot, cobalt green. Well, actually they are really quite lovely. Let's leave you there for a minute and move down to doing ultramarine pink with ultramarine pink. And then we just need 5. Two. Right, let's mix with ultramarine violet. Ultramarine blue. Pretty. Let's go to cerulean. Oh, oh, that's a lovely colour. Cobalt teal. We're getting some quite different blues now. And then our cobalt green. What are we going to get with this? Ah, that is a gorgeous shadow colour. Right, pause again. Moving on then to our ultramarine violet. And then we only need 4 spaces this time. 2, 3, there's our 4. And we are mixing with ultramarine blue. And then cerulean blue. in with our cobalt teal. And cobalt green. Well, we're getting there. We're nearly there. Move to the next palette. And our next colour is ultramarine blue with ultramarine blue. And we actually only need now to mix that with 3 colours that it hasn't been mixed with already, which is cerulean blue, cobalt teal, and cobalt green. Ooh. Next we are on our, what are we on? Cerulean blue. And we only need to mix that with 2 colours. With cobalt teal, and cobalt green. Moving on, what's next? Cobalt teal. And cobalt teal only needs to be mixed with cobalt green. And we'll finish up with cobalt green and cobalt green. Phew! Wow, well, I'm going to move my... I mean, they are pretty mixing palettes, though, you've got to agree. Let's move my mixing palettes out of the way. Chink, chink. Yeah, these are still a bit wet in places, but look at all those glorious colours from this one palette, from these 12 colours. So I think what I will do is, it's been a long video. I think I'm going to leave these brushes to the next video. yeah, it's gone on for over an hour already. But what I do want to try and do, if I can, let's try and move this. Yes, I can. If I move that down a bit, that down a bit, there we go. And I think I'll do that one another day as well. This has taken up quite a lot of time. Do I have any favourite mixes? Well, I think I'm really liking this, which was ultramarine pink and cobalt green. So I just want to do a bigger swatch of that. And I'm just going to mix it on the page. So ultramarine pink and cobalt green. I'm going to bring that up in a minute. I will dry everything and do a final bring up, but that because it's got two granulating colours is looking absolutely wonderful. What else do I quite like the look of? Yeah, the ultramarine violet and the pyrrole red. Let's stick a bit of pyrrole red down. I'm just thinking these are some of the more unusual mixes to maybe highlight a bit. Yeah, that is really interesting. And let's see what else was quite unique. Well, let's use the cerulean blue and the cobalt green. Which is really beautiful. One more. Let's do one more. That is the ultramarine pink with the cerulean blue. Okay, ultramarine pink. With the cerulean blue. Which I think is a really beautiful colour. Right, I'm going to dry those, bring everything up for the very last time. That's when I can find my mouse, which has gone dead on me. There it is. Right, so let's bring up those mixes that I did. Aren't they fabulous? This has got the real pink and greeny black going on. And then look at the two-tone in that one. And that one is gorgeous as well. And what a pretty violet colour that is. So we've got our 12 colours at the top there. And then here we have all of the mixes which I think are rather beautiful. I think you've got every colour that you could possibly need in there, really. So I'll finish off by leaving it there. And yeah, if you did manage to stay to the end, then maybe put in the comments pretty palette. I think it's a very pretty palette. Right, thank you for watching and staying with me. I hope this has given you some ideas for yourself. See you again next time.